So I'm going to try a new thing, and this is I guess what you would call video blogs or a video diary. And what I'm going to do is from now on video myself talking about my life, because there is just shitloads and volumes of information about All Day and Night, 45 years of abuse. And so the more I find out, the angrier people get, especially my family, the police, the government, those supporting them in the psychology community due to their I guess screw-ups in the beginning. I'm not so sure they were screw-ups in the beginning, because around 5 years old my family labeled me a violent paranoid schizo, and the reasoning, I don't think they actually believed it. I think their reasoning is because they wanted to build in control levers and triggers and all sorts of system or terror operations into my life with the psychology community. And so therefore working on me all day and night for 40 years after that to try to make me look crazy at any point they wanted to dictate my life, so to speak. So what I've decided to do is there's just too much to write. I mean, I'm not a writer in general, but the information is so vast, and the fact that all these events link to huge groups working on me with these specific events makes it extremely difficult for me to talk about. So, or I should say, not difficult to talk about, but difficult to write, time-consuming to write, and extremely time-consuming to explain to people the intricacies and all the connected events on a daily basis. So, for example, while maybe my family might have someone play something, like play act something out of a movie, or example, they'll have me watch a movie and then they'll try to sort of play act something out of the movie to make me look or think that I'm in the movie, to try to make it look like I'm not stable and am different and think differently, and there's no place in society for me, to try to flip me out, gaslight me, gang stalk me. And so the problem is that this isn't one person you can walk away from. It's billions of people all across the world, all taking turns on me all day and night. So what that has evolved into over the years is basically the entire entertainment industry, movies, music, video games, you name it, all putting things, hidden messages in their media, all directed at me, and then people sarcastically joking and teasing with cryptic messages directed at me to let me know they're doing this, but nothing is ever directly said. So by the time that you confront the situation, they say, oh, well, you're crazy. I mean, who would do that? That's insane, right? And the reasoning behind the madness is obviously to make someone look crazy, right? Now, why? Well, the why all comes down to the same thing. How can I remove this person from society because I don't like him? It all comes down to that. And unfortunately, this isn't one person. It is supported worldwide with the police, government, you name it. And the more I find out, the more they want me quiet, and the more they attack me in their anger and rage. Hence, such claims like, by me having a website, cards, or signs on my car, I'm causing problems for the world because I'm drawing them in to something they don't want to see, but that's not how the world generally works. Human beings basically are conscious entities that make their own choice, and if they see a car driving down the street with a sign, Kevin Perlman Target, which was put on my car 30 years later, realizing they're not going to stop with this insanity and manhunt to try to eradicate me, they have a conscious decision to go to the website or not. It's not harming anyone, but the scams the police and psychology community are trying to use is that I'm doing this to my life by speaking out and telling people everything they've been told is not true. Hence why I've decided to do these video diaries, because this is information that is not only important for me to stay breathing, and everything that's been done to me all day and night for 40 years. And if you want to try to comprehend the situation, imagine what 1 year of isolation would be like, being tortured by hundreds of thousands to millions per day, every single day, all day and night, never ending, with worldwide groups inflicting horrific mental pain and anguish to get those reactions to use against you with the police and government to try to put you in jail cells, lock you away, cause endless nervous breakdowns, or just collapse your brain from working. Therefore, that is their motive. And to put it bluntly, is what we call attempted murder by mass worldwide groups. They might not see it that way. They might see it as, oh, this person's a horrible monster from the propaganda, so let's take turns on them all day and night. But what is the motive behind that? Because generally, if you don't like someone, you stay away from them. You don't follow them around in mass groups all day and night. Since a young child, okay, so this video camera cuts off at 30 minutes, so I'm not exactly sure where it stopped recording, but I was talking about the things that were done to me now and growing up, which are so beyond any level of demented, which start at early childhood with the psychology community and interlink with the police and government, showing that what's going on in my life isn't just a demented psychotic family, but operations within our government that they don't want me talking about. And when I talk about my life and the things that were done growing up till now and still going on, they open up all sorts of doors to illegal operations and unconstitutional operations within our government, clearly based on torturing and killing people or trying to control people with covert psychological warfare and mental illness tactics, the very thing that Adolf Hitler spoke about in his campaign to exterminate all other races. And so I'm going to talk about all these things, and while I am sure they're going to come off as some guy rambling, there's a lot of information in my brain that needs to get out, and it needs to be documented. And while people may not want to listen to this now, I'm not sure. This is a way for me to document my life so that in the future people can understand what was done to my life, and there's record of all the things that were done that I can get out. And so while within these mass all day and night never ending attacks with worldwide support, there probably are some things that I might have pieced together that aren't true. But what you need to understand is that if I'm right about 1% of any of this, that is all that anyone needs to hear. Because it's not okay for one person to psychologically stalk and mentally batter someone until they're dead and gone, and it's not okay for 1 billion people. It's just not okay on any level. And so it doesn't matter if I'm wrong about some things but right about most, because the level of resources with billions of government dollars invested in me is unacceptable and uncalled for, and there's no reason for it. And the only possible reason, which I've seen a lot of cryptic hints about me being a terrorist, which doesn't make any sense, is that when this starts at 5 years old, if I built like an atomic bomb and put it in a football stadium and like blew up 100,000 people, and that would make me a terrorist. Other than that, I farted wrong, I blinked wrong, I yawned wrong, I got in a fight in a sandbox in 5th grade with someone, are all irrelevant and perfectly normal with everyone's life. Hence, the reality of the situation is I'm basically being hunted for no reason other than someone having trust issues. And the moral of the story with trust is, if you don't trust someone, stay the fuck away from them. It's that simple. Nobody owes anyone else trust, whether it's a family member or anyone else. They don't owe you, okay? I don't owe anyone to trust me. And that's the basic statement coming from everyone, especially my family, is that I have to be a trustful person for them, or there will be worldwide stalkings to end my existence. That doesn't make any sense, other than I don't like you and I'm going to exterminate you. I don't trust you and I'm going to exterminate you. So anyways, this, I guess, is my intro, and ironically, I'm not used to talking in front of the camera to myself, so I'm going to have to train myself to do that, and probably I'll have the next lame disinformation to the world is that I'm trying to compete with webcam girls and things like that, because as stupid as that sounds, a lot of these lies are on that level. They make no sense. They're the stupidest things known to man, but yet the world's using them as leverage to stalk me. And obviously, most of the people worldwide don't believe the stupid crap they say. They just say it to justify their actions. So, I think that's probably it for this video introduction and explaining this, I guess, video diary, as you call it, or whatever you want to call it. But you know, hopefully I'll be able to do something with this video, and I'm gonna put them up on the internet for everyone to see. I can't imagine anyone wanting to sit through these, but that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm sure they will come handy in the future, or to be transcribed so that the world can understand what is really going on from the standpoint of the target, and not the worldwide propaganda that's being disseminated out to the world on an all day and night basis about Kevin Perlman, which I met with people all day and night worldwide. I know you, but I don't know you, and you do what I say, or you do what we say, or we'll kill you. You know, I'm gonna just explain all these situations from growing up to present, how these situations interact with one another, from maybe someone says something to me in Thousand Oaks, and in Las Vegas a day later 50 people feed off that private conversation, and this happens worldwide, making one event connected to maybe 100,000 attacks per day, right? But and what people leave out is they try to put me in this position of, you're either 10 times more known than Donald Trump, or you're anonymous and nobody knows you. But that's not the way the world works. The world works is, if you're a famous actor, everyone knows you. And with that comes some people that don't like you. Okay, so I'm trying to finish this intro up, but this camera is kind of quirky. Anyways, I just wanted to quickly explain the dynamics of my family and where I come from, and the dynamics of me growing up. And that is that my family are, my father's an orthopedic surgeon with a secondary psychology degree, My brother is a urologist with a secondary psychology degree. My mother is a art therapist, or was, who worked for Cedars-Sinai and who knows where else, analyzing troubled kids' art. So you can understand that's very bad for me, being an artist, and them going through all my artwork to use against me, trying to come up with all these theories and craziness based on harmless imagery. That's one thing, but the other thing is that they're very controlling, and they use their psychology degrees not to help, but to control or hurt or punish. And that's really what people need to understand, is that these aren't good people. They don't have these degrees to help people, which is the reason most people generally at least start off and go into psychology, is to help people that need help. But people that tell you that person might have a problem, so there's no place for them in society, are evil people. Okay? The bottom line is that everyone has some kind of issue or problem or whatever, and if they don't, they're going to, on a small level, whether they break up with their girlfriend or wife and they're depressed for a month or whatever. In my life, any time you dip below that perfection level, you're labeled as someone that needs to be removed from society, and that is very strange. So anyways, these are, I guess this is this intro start of my first video diary, and I'm just going to keep unloading all my thoughts, which for some reason upset people, and keep telling me that you're not allowed to talk about it, and just you suffer from anxiety issues, and just be quiet and meditate and forget about everything. And meanwhile, while you're trying to forget about things, more larger and larger groups are hunting you down with death threats. You better not talk, or things like this, or you better accept what's going on, or things are going to get a lot worse for you. Showing that basically I have worldwide groups hovering over me going, we have a problem for you knowing what you know, and if you ever say anything, we're watching you, and you better not ever tell anyone. Hence such death threats on video like, I'm gonna get you, snitch, you're dead, which actually apply to the bigger picture from people working with the police trying to cover up these 40-year terror and torture operations and setup attempts, endless setup attempts, and endless frame jobs, and endless lies, smears, defamation, libel, slander, you name it, which all turn into the intent to kill someone in such a way where someone never physically touches someone. That is what this is really about. And these are government operations. So when you think about this, think about Edward Snowden and what he came forward with. And think about the lame excuses the government made, which Edward Snowden talks about, that this is for national security. What they're doing is for national security and to stop terrorism. And we find out it's not really about terrorism. It's about thugging our own U.S. citizens and data mining every aspect of the U.S. citizen, and they use the excuse it's for terrorism, but it's not. And so I am basically the example of what happened to, or what Edward Snowden talks about. I am living proof. And so while Edward Snowden brings out a small amount of what's going on at NSA, I'm sure there's a whole ton of other illegal and unconstitutional operations going on, and probably with other organizations that we have no clue even exist. We just know about NSA because growing up there were wives' tales about it, and Edward Snowden exposed it. But there's probably a ton of other organizations that aren't being held accountable and doing similar types of demented things to the U.S. citizens, with FISA and loopholes in the Patriot Act and things like this. So I guess I'll leave this intro here, and I will just continue. The other thing I want to say is that there's several reasons I'm doing this in my car. one reason is it just gets me out, mobile and doing different things and going around, which ironically my family with the police and government go ape shit over, which doesn't make any sense other than they don't want me ever talking or interacting with people, showing that I'm not some crazy lunatic like they say I am. And also now, obviously, the signs on my car really piss off my family and the government because they don't want anything truthful coming to light. The other thing is, you know, whatever. It gets me out. I do different things. I hate sitting in front of a computer, talking to myself in front of a webcam, because when I'm at home, I like to be productive in accomplishing things. So this way, you know, whatever. I'm out doing things. I'm recording my thoughts, and I can get that to the people. I'm not stuck at home like they basically suggested or hinted over and over, that I never leave my house and I sit there and crawl up in a corner and die. So I guess that's pretty much it. And my mother would probably make up some lame excuse with my stepfather that this is totally reckless and I'm not focusing on the road and I'm careless and whatever, some crazy, insane concept that they do with every intricate detail of my life. But anyway, so yeah, so that's pretty much it. So you're going to get a lot more of these. So that's pretty much it.
Parking mode.